So again, welcome to all of you to this spontaneous creation. And I'm so grateful for my team because they're like, yes, let's go get it out, see who will come on. It's being recorded. So you will receive the recording and anybody else that registered will also receive the replay. Um, the willingness to be an inspiration in the world. What was the title again? But it was that energy about willingness to be an inspiration, like be the inspiration in the world you want to see. So, there's many quotes by many people. And this one for me was really, it's like, what have you been lacking? Because one of the things that we know is that the word want also carries a lot of energy of lack. So when you want something, there's like a lack there. But what do you lack to see in the world? I have been facilitating a lot of access consciousness classes in the last now close to 12 years, something like that. Maybe a facilitating, maybe 10, but I came across access consciousness tools about 12 years ago. And I'd say that I came to access not because I had a problem, but there was an energy as, I discovered access bars, and there was an energy when I got to meet Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, in person. And then when I got to meet Dr. Dane here, I thought, all right, I'm not wrong. He is such this incredible energy. And I remember the first time I met him, he was on stage and he was being this energy that most people would say, like, this guy's crazy, in the sense that, he was bouncing from one topic to the next, but there was so much space in his world of who he was. And he even said it out loud. I have ADHD, autism, like, all these other labels all rolled into one, but he didn't apologize for being. And I remember at the break, I went up to him and I said, thank you so much. Like, oh my God, you don't have to be perfect. Like, you can be all of that. And I had realized at that point how much I was trying to order myself and make things show up a certain way. And I didn't allow the chaos that I truly be to show up in my life. And, throughout the years, I've let go more of that control, and things get created and things are chaotic. And I'm grateful for the team that works with me because they really go with the energy and the changes. But this is part of what, I've been starting with. It's these energies of people that I have met that, you maybe have people that have inspired you to choose something different, be something greater. But I remember years ago, just new in Access, someone had asked me, it's like, Sylvia, well, who inspires you? Like, what inspires you? And at that moment, the only two people I could think of were Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here. And I thought, that's interesting. There's a lot of people in the world that have created amazing change, right? A lot of people choosing different things, going beyond the limitations of this reality. But when I met Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane, they were both willing to be an energy that I had never seen on the planet before. And especially Gary Douglas. So we're here at, a group of us are here live at the Lazy Double D Ranch in Texas, because there's the certified facilitators training going on. So there's, about over 300 of us around the world, online and live. But even seeing Gary here live again, it's like, I remember the very first time I met him. And as he was facilitating, I remember all the different energies he was willing to be. As people asked questions, there were certain people, he was this like laser intensity with them, and then there was other people that as they asked their questions, he was the softness. And as I watched him facilitate, as I watched him go back and forth with different people, I thought, he's willing to be whatever energy is required to invite people to that crack of space of possibility in their world. And I thought, wow, that was so different. I'd never seen that, because I don't know about you, but you meet people and this is how you are, and people expect you to be a certain way, so they know how to push your buttons, they know how to control you, and they know what to expect, and they know how to relate to you. Well, when you have someone that's willing to be anything, you can't control them. You don't know what to expect. So there's a whole different energy. So when I say that Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here inspired me, it's because they were being an energy that I had never seen on the planet. So how many of you are refusing to be the energy that you be that has never been seen on the planet before? Where have you been trying to fit in and be like other people that keeps you from being that unique energy that invites a possibility, that invites life and living in a whole different way? So everything that brings up, I'm going to use now the clearing statement. For some of you that may not know it, the clearing statement is like the magic wand we have in Access Consciousness, where energetically it goes to the root of whatever may be there, whether you have it cognitively or not. It goes to the root to unblock the energy so you actually have space to see what's true for you. So everything that brought up, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So, this part about willing to be this difference, and how many of you actually during these last 2 years especially have gotten to acknowledge how different you actually are? How many of you? Yes, more now. And I remember it was actually my sister Cindy, who's on here now. She's all, oh, I'm really clear now how different I am, and I can really notice how people function when I walk in the street. Like, she said she'd walk on the street and there'd be certain people that would get off the sidewalk to walk way around her. She goes, oh, like you could feel the intensity of, I don't want to get near people, I should have social distancing, all of that. She goes, and then there would be other people that would just cross by and say hi. But how many of you have acknowledged in these last 2 years, by the way you are functioning and the choices that you have you acknowledged how different you are? And if you haven't, we have Lauren who's about to write. And you can unmute yourself at any time, please. This is meant to also.
Can I talk? Oh, wait, you just froze. Can I talk?
Go ahead. Yes, go for it.
I've been finally fucking acknowledged how fucking different I am. My family is, we always have been. And it's just been mind-blowing. I'm thanking Corona. I'm thanking all of this for coming into my life. It has been the best thing ever in the world. And I'm like, that's how different I am, because I'm going, this has been so awesome.
Oh, is that
how much more? Give me more. I like whatever. So thank you. But thank you, Sylvia and Cindy and Access Consciousness and everybody for allowing me to be that different. And allowing me to acknowledge it. That was the hard part. I didn't acknowledge. And once I started acknowledging, seeing the world change in front of my eyes, going, oh yeah, I know that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. I thought, all right, so, okay, I'm going to go beyond it, out-create it. Rules to me are meant to be broken, not broken. Just walk around them and figure out how to make it work for you.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's the thing that I've begun to see is that, many of us during these, say, last 2 years in particular, but, how many of you before that were actually going into the wrongness of you because you didn't fit in? Like you were always struggling to be like everyone else. You were always struggling to try to do things as ordered as other people. And yet you had a different way of creating, a different way of being, but people criticize that. So all the projections, all the criticism that you have received, for how you be, who you be, that you be, will you all destroy and uncreate all that, please? Everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. So what is the gift of you that you have yet to acknowledge? Because it doesn't match anything else you've seen on the planet. And anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, and receive what that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, Monica writes, most of the time I feel alone. Yeah. So how many of you have felt you don't belong, you feel alone? Like how many people have you been aware of on the planet that feel they're alone, that they don't belong? There's so many people that have been labeled in so many different ways. that, you know, they have a problem, but yet they're so aware. And yet, you know, no one has ever talked to them, just like Lorraine mentioned about, wow, I'm just starting to acknowledge how different I am. So what is the difference of you that you have not acknowledged? Yeah. So everything that is, and everything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, and receive the difference of you, the gift of you. And everywhere you're waiting for someone to acknowledge it, that doesn't allow you to acknowledge it to you, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, unpack all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. I was looking for 2 quotes, and I have one here. There's two quotes that I wanted to bring to you. I don't know, you guys, if you've heard of this book, but the Utopian Ideal, Beyond the Utopian Ideal, sorry, by Mr. Gary Douglas. You know, this book has been traveling with me, and I don't tend to read a lot, but it's been with me. And the other day I finally opened it. And it's so funny. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but you pick up a book or you know, something maybe you've already read and just pick it up to see what pops. Well, this was the part that popped. In translators, I'll read as slow as I can. This says, being what you are in every respect. You have to get to the point where you say, I don't care who I turn out to be. I want to know everything about me. I don't care if I lose everything and everyone. I want me. I have no clue who I am because I have never chosen to see me, be me, want me, desire me, or like me better than anyone else. You have to ask yourself, how stupid am I not to choose to be me? So everything that is, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Everything that brings up, yeah. Because when you actually choose to destroy and uncreate, we're actually destroying and uncreating what's not true. It's actually destroying and uncreating all the lies of the energy that comes up for you that might not be true. And if some of you guys are moved by this, like, wow, that willingness to actually have you, but not have you be you from separation, but actually acknowledge you, receive you. And what I've noticed, I'm sure I'm the only one, that throughout the years, when people would ask me questions, I was like, oh, see me, like, you're going to actually see all the dark and ugly things. Maybe I should hide them. So how many of you think that when people say see you, be you, you're like, oh, if you only knew. So what part of you, I say part of you, but what areas are you hiding that you judge the most about you? Or are there certain energies you're refusing to be because you think those are awful and bad? So I remember early on, I'm so grateful. There's some amazing facilitators, Brendan Watt being one of them. He's all, well, Sylvia, you're a bulldozer. I'm all, what? Me, little old me, a bulldozer? Never. And he's all, and there's nothing wrong with being a bulldozer. I was like, oh. So what have you been refusing to be that you have such a negative meaning of that? Have you been refusing to be a bulldozer? Have you been refusing to be dominating? Refusing to be a bitch, a control freak? Like, what are the energies that you've been refusing to be that if you didn't judge them would give you freedom to be them and choose something different if something different was required? But anything you're refusing to be controls you and allows other people to control you with that. So everything that is and everything that brings up, we destroyed and created all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pack, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, Monica says, most of the time when you're being weird, people reject you because you're scary. Cindy above said, including me, or refusing to be a bitch from hell. Yeah. Stupid. I love that name piece. So when we say stupid, it's like where you go, you're not willing to be conscious or aware of what actually is. So everywhere you're refusing to be, and you fill in the line, we're going to do this clearing. What and this I highly recommend it. So part of the gift of these clearings that we do in Access Consciousness is that if I ask you a question or I bring something up and there's an intensity to the energy, it usually indicates that something's stuck there. There's a point of view, or there is something that you have made so real and true that you're refusing. And so when you run these clearings, it starts to unlock this all energetically. And the more you run them, the more you receive the energy. Yep, the more that you clear all the lies about that, you actually have then a space that shows up, then allows you to truly have choice. So you can run a clearing like this with anything you've been refusing. And this is a moment to actually just be honest with you. Oh, I've been refusing to be a controlling bitch, dominating, selfish, greedy, arrogant, stupid, whatever it is for you. And you go, what energy, space, and consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can me and my body be to be for all eternity? Notice all the end. What do you mean be that for all eternity? So I couldn't be stupid for all eternity. Like, whatever it is like, no way. But it's all that intensity of refusing to be that actually controls you and has you in judgment of that and you. And there's no freedom. So what have you been refusing to be? So you can even simplify it. What energy? Hey, Melanie, to be magical and powerful and be seen. Exactly. What energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be the magical, powerful that you've been refusing to be for all eternity? I mean, how many of you have created you in this lifetime as this beautiful being? I mean, what have you chosen in this lifetime that you're refusing to acknowledge and receive? And are you refusing to have an advantage over others by being that? I mentioned this because I don't know if she's on camera right now, but my beautiful friend, Melanie Clampett, she's tall, she's beautiful. And yet, talk about an advantage. You walk into a room, you got an advantage, right? So everywhere, whatever you guys have chosen in this lifetime that you haven't seen, haven't received as the advantage you knew you would have to actually choose and have the life you could be choosing. Will you all destroy and uncreate all that? Well, some of you maybe. Right and wrong, good and bad, fun, fuck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And so what are we all refusing to acknowledge that is keeping us from being the inspiration we could be in the world? Yeah. Everything that is. Have you ever wondered, why would you refuse the greatness of you? Why? Is it so that you don't have more than others? So you don't be greater than others? So you don't receive more than others? What is it that has you refuse the greatness of you? Oh, so you don't compete with others, or so that others don't compete with you, Stella?
So I don't compete with other people. And
so truth, would you be competing with others, or would you have others competing with you?
Oh, first one is lighter.
Okay, so everywhere you bought that, if you actually acknowledged what you be, that is an advantage to so many, to have so much more in your life than others are willing to choose. Everywhere you bought that would create competition. Everywhere you bought that it wouldn't be fair. I saw Carmen write, It's not fair for others. It's not fair that you're more beautiful. It's not fair that people give you things. It's not fair that people pay you to do what you love to do. It's not fair that you have X, Y, and Z. So everything that is, yeah. Will you please destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good, bad, fun, POC, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. I have this other beautiful quote. Estella, do you have the Right Voice for You English manual with you by chance? And I wonder, okay, she's going to go grab it. There's this beautiful quote that in the Right Voice for You manual that I just facilitated in Brazil and then in Colombia. And it talks about greatness. And I have it in Spanish, which I can post up. And instead of trying to butcher my translation, I thought I'd get the English, but we can give it a try. And Monica, thank you for sending that to me. Yeah, Melanie was going to say, what is greatness? Exactly. So one of the very first things that
sorry, I'm looking in English. I have the manual in English too.
Oh, thank you, Monica. Oh, and there's Estella too. Awesome. She has it. But one of the things that Gary, early on, when I was asked to be the regional event coordinator for the Access Consciousness Company on the Americas part, I said, sure. Didn't know what the heck it meant. And, you know, Simone Millicis so amazingly just said, just be you. I'm like, okay. And then when I talked to Gary, he's all, no, well, it also requires some doing. And the one question that he gave me that continues to be a question I use and be with everything was this: what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to create oh no, wait, what was it now? Now I'm losing it. What can I be and do different to create more and greater? Now I'm losing the actual question, but it's this energy of being willingness to choose more and greater. So I was like, okay, what inner space and consciousness can I be to create and be more and greater? So I thought, okay, but I still didn't have the energy between more and greater. And what I got as I sat with the question, repeated the question, was like, okay, more is something you already know, you're already doing, you're already being, more of that. But greater is something that has never existed before. So there's no reference point to it. So what if this journey of us having and being more of us is that journey where you get to discover you, but it's an energy of greater, something you've never known. Yeah. So, and what else? And here comes this beautiful section in the Right Voice for You manual. Do we have it in English, Estella? Do you want to read it? Will you read it?
Yes. What page do I go?
It should say greatness. I have it in Spanish.
I can find it in the manual. Maybe it's because changed.
Oh, the translation. Okay, so let me translate it. It's okay, Stella. Thank you. It says, greatness is an energy that you are that inspires others. It's not the things, the success that you've had, or to use what you've done to make yourself greater. It's the disposition, or it's the willingness. It's the willingness to be something that the others are not willing to choose. It's the willingness to be something that others are not willing to choose. That can create, that can inspire other possibilities. It says the things about greatness, the thing about greatness is that great people inspire others. They don't have to be in charge, but they invite you to be as good and great as you can be. What if you were willing to be that great all the time? Are you? Or are you avoiding that? So everything that brings out, will you all destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Dan says, greatness is the energy that you are that inspires others. Exactly. And Melanie, brilliant. Wow, I've been great all along for a long time and never knew it. Yes, that's exactly my point. Yes, yes, one person, yes. And Lorraine, yes, I am willing to be great all the time. And how much more fun can I have? Exactly. Oh, beautiful people. Marguerite, you're here too. Wow. Diane from Puerto Vallarta as well. Wow. So in this invitation with this, Zoom today, it really is that. It's really like, what would it take for us to actually acknowledge the greatness of us? Because you're not going to find it in the next person next to you. You're not going to find it on Instagram the way you be. You're not going to find it on Facebook the way you be. You're not. Your greatness doesn't exist somewhere else. So what if the only place you look to for that is you? So everywhere you're refusing to see, be, receive that of you, will you destroy and uncreate all that? And everywhere you're refusing it so that you can be received from anyone else, your family, friends, colleagues, like, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, punt, pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, Dan, because I'm naked. That's why I don't have my camera on. I'm hiding my greatness. Hi, Dan. Don't be shy. Awesome. But this willingness, so for me, the joy of this part about inspiration, it's like, if you could have the world, like really the planet, be any way you'd like it to be, what would you be asking for? How would you like the planet to be? What would you create? If you had that magic wand to create a planet and a world, what would be the elements of it? I know I've been desiring for a long time a planet that has more allowance. And very early on, I'm grateful, Alban Morteni, a good friend of mine in Mexico, had invited me to come facilitate classes in Mexico City. And I had done a Right Voice for You class then. And I remember after day 1, that the second day, that morning I woke up and I was like, because people had acknowledged certain things and someone had just talked about, like, thank you for that space of allowance. And I thought, wow, I started to really acknowledge the space of allowance I have. And I thought, all right, if this is what I desire in the world, I'm willing to be it. I'm willing to bring that space of allowance, no matter what it takes, no matter like wherever I need to go. And even if it means I die. And I remembered like being shocked even with the word, especially the part about even if it means I die. But for the first time, I had an energy of what I desired in the world. I was like, wow, what would this planet be like if we had a space of allowance? If we had a space of no judgment. And so, I noticed just recently, being in these recent classes in Brazil and in Colombia, as I meet new people, there is a space where people have the space to be, where there is no judgment or expectation or rightness of how you should be. It's just that space of like, okay, so you want to do that? Great. Does it work for you? But how many of us have very few people that be that? So what can you be, even if it's for one person, but what would you like to bring in the world that you haven't allowed yourself to be? And how many of you have chosen to be that, but very few people receive it. Because guess what? Many of you have probably judged yourself for what you be because very few people can receive it. So how many of you have limited being all the magic, all the kindness, all the space of allowance that you be because very few people receive it? And what if you didn't have to turn it down, whether anyone received it or not? So everything that brings up, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? How many of you desperately want someone to receive it? Your mother, your father, your sisters, your dog? No, the dog probably receives it way more than anyone else, actually. But how many of you are expecting, like, please, if they can only receive my greatness, they can only receive the kindness and caring I have for them, if they knew how much I adore them and I would do anything for them. So everywhere you've been limiting the gift of you because someone has not been willing to receive it, will you now please destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pack, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Melanie writes here, wow, it's like I gave up my greatness because I was not acknowledging it as greatness, not valuing this about me. That is different, but not necessarily a value in this reality, but an extension of me when I'm being me, choosing as me. It's so not what I thought it was, truly not a doing or success in this reality. Exactly, it's not. And yet, when you actually choose to be that with no apology, there is an energy that the universe will contribute to you. But you have to be willing to be that. It's almost like being relentless and being all of you and unapologetic to anyone or anything. It's like, okay, next. But how many of you have certain people in your lives that you're trying to convince and drag along somehow? Maybe that's part of the gift. I move around so much. It's like, okay, you got maybe about 5 days. If you don't receive me, don't acknowledge you. All right, I'm off. Next. So maybe that's part of the way I've created my life right now. It's like, all right, yes or no. So how many of you are still apologizing for something you think you're not, that you have to be, rather than what you be? And everything that doesn't allow you to, like a dolphin. Oh yeah, I went swimming with the dolphins out in Puerto Vallarta, and I almost didn't get in the water, which was interesting. Then finally, I'm all right, I'm going in. And I didn't even use the goggles, which, you'd think you're out in the middle of the ocean, open water. You should wear goggles because it's salt, right? Salty ocean water. I was surprised because as I opened my eyes underwater and everything, my eyes did not get irritated at all during or after. But one of the energies that showed up was we were asked to play with the dolphins. The more you play with them, the more they stick around. So they invited us to be that motion like dolphins are, and you twirl and you dive under, and so they hung around with our group for over an hour. And it was this peaceful, spacious play. But I remember just giggling, just being in this ecstatic joy, because I'd go and, as deep as I could, with a life jacket on, into the water, my eyes and what I could see. And there they were right under my feet and around me and over me. And they moved to the left and the right. And I was trolling as much as I could troll, but I was laughing hysterically. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is a level of joy that I know, but no one I know has that. And I'm about to cry because it's like, what is it that you know for you that no one else has, and you're waiting for someone to play with in this space that the dolphins were being? It's like, oh my God, thank you. The level of joy and play and laughter is really something I don't see on the planet a whole lot. I have a dear friend. We had gone out in Houston and it was a wild and fun night. And at the end, it was like, are you okay? Are you good? Like, like just everything we chose. And I was like, wow, I'm so grateful, because it's such this extreme joy and play that very few people are willing to be. And we were like, yeah, that was fun. No judgment, all space. But what if you could be that for someone? What is the space of you that you can be? Some of you choose to play with kids. Some of you choose to be around animals more often because they have that space. They don't judge you. And you can actually be the space of you. So if we each chose that, even 1% more today, would it be a different planet? Yeah, 1%. For some of you that are brave, you might choose 2 or 5. And if you dare, you can choose more, but even 1% more. And I say 1% because I get it. As you choose to have more of you, be more of you, it can be very uncomfortable. It can, because it's different. But everywhere you're refusing being uncomfortable, and you've made being uncomfortable the wrongness, what if that is when you're actually choosing to be more of you? So everywhere you've made your uncomfortableness a wrongness rather than the strongness, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan and pak, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. Yes. And yeah, it's really about me receiving me, then other people's receiving isn't needed. Exactly. When you receive you, this is the part in the Utopian Ideals, page 14, if you guys have the book, this is the part, like, are you willing to like you better than anyone else? Once you have that space of being inspired, like inspiring yourself, like having that joy of being you, then it's irrelevant. And if anybody else does or not, it's like, okay, next. Irrelevant, totally irrelevant, correct? Yeah. Beautiful. I'm just reading the comments now. Bring that uncomfortableness. Yeah. Yeah, uncomfortableness, kind of exciting. Yes. But this is where, if you guys have the access consciousness tools, whatever tool, like imagine carrying that bag, little fanny pack, backpack, whatever you like, of having these tools. This morning I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm weird. I'm like feeling really weird. Okay. And in the middle of the night, there was this energy I was aware of. I'm like, wow, but I could almost feel this opening in space. And I'm grateful. I'm on the ranch, and Gary and Dane live right across the street right there. And so whatever that energy with the horses and the chickens and the pigs and all of that, and the bulls, there's these beautiful longhorn bulls out there. It's like, wow, like the ranch has this space that invites you to be you. It doesn't judge you, has no expectations of you. Whew. And so that can feel weird when you have no judgment of you, when you have no expectations of you, when there's no need to say or act in any particular way. So where are you refusing to be the weirdo you truly be? And everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pak, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow. Well, part of the weirdness, I thought, I'm going to get on the Zoom. I have no idea what I'm going to say. And one of the things that Gary's all, just open your mouth. Something brilliant will come out. And I'm like, well, we'll see. So I'd like to open up the mics for you. Do you have any questions? I mean, there is an energy here and an invitation for all of us to truly create a different world, a different reality. And no one else can choose that for us. No one else. No one else can choose it. Someone may inspire you by what they're choosing or being, but no one else can make that choice for you. So let me know. Anybody want to open their mic? Irene, hands up.
Hi.
Beautiful bean.
Well, remember years ago, you asked me, I did a session with you, and you said, and I shared with you, I'd love to create my dream school. Yeah. So I bought a building and I'm creating my dream preschool, Spanish immersion, first Spanish immersion in Santa Rosa in my area. We've worked for 13 years to create something very different.
Yay.
Very different. And it's completely new and it's revolutionary. And our kids are doing extraordinary. You know, we've got 3-year-olds that are learning to read. We've got preschoolers that are understanding second grade Gali work. And so it's very, very different. And so I'm real, like, even just talking about it, like my palms are getting sweaty. Like I'm starting to like I've got tingly in my hands, and because it's very different. And really just hearing you is what I hear is what I want to see in the world. In my school is a world of kindness and love and creativity and inspiration and connection and diversity. And it's terrifying. You know, it's like, so hearing you, it's like, okay, well, this is who I am in the world. And now the next step for me is to be seen.
Awesome.
I haven't shared it on Facebook. Very few people know about it. You know, we've kind of been keeping it a secret for 13 years. But I'll never forget that session I had with you. And, you know, the question came up, like, what would I create? And it's like, I really want my dream school.
Irene, would you receive from all of us a contribution?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So one of the things in Access that we have is that throughout the years, there's been different energies that have come up that are represented with the number. And so we call out the number and then you kind of just send this wave of energy, you know, kind of whatever that is. And one of them is a 7. And a 7 is really to contribute the magic. Let me pull it up because I always the 7 is what popped, but anybody have that? And but this magic of really bringing out, it's a 7 is the one you don't want to play with because it's about using magic, but it truly is about changing the world and willingness to create a world that's different than what that's existed here before. And so just the contribution of that magic of whatever we can contribute to you or the school being seen globally around the world and beyond whatever else is required. So would you all be willing to contribute a 7 to Irene and the school and the creation that she has going on? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. Thank you so much, Irene.
Yeah, you're welcome. How crazy is that? Because in our just creating our brand strategy for the world, there, you know, there's the archetypes that you create for your business. And one of them was magician, being a magician.
Yay.
So proud. Incredible.
Well, maybe I'll see you there in Santa Rosa. I'm going up to California.
Please.
In March.
I would love to
check
see
with
you
Cindy.
Cindy.
Yes. Ask
I would
Cindy
love
and she'll
to
send you the
see
date.
you and connect with both of you. Thank you.
I'm actually facilitating a right voice for you if you'd like to come and some body process classes. So I'll be in California. Yay. I would love to see
you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Anyone else? Any questions, comments? And I'm so grateful, Melanie. She's all impeccable timing. You're welcome. Lorraine says, I require an Irene in my life. But just listening to Irene's story too, it's like, you know, really how different what she's created is. And, when you're that different, I mean, she's been hiding it for 13 years. It's like, how many of you have, I'll say fear, but this sense of like, oh, if I actually expose it, maybe whatever comes up for you. So what are you refusing to expose to the world? Yeah, so everything that is. Right, wrong, good and bad, pan, pac, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Did you want to share one other thing, Irene?
Yeah, so the different is something the first 3 years of having the school, I invalidated it. So that major imposter syndrome, because we were different, because education is not my background. I'm an economist and I'm an entrepreneur. So, and I think that's been now looking back in retrospect, oh my gosh, that's why we've created something different, because I wasn't in the system. We've created something because I had a different perspective, and we really invalidated that and just were feeling like complete imposters. And now I realized, oh my gosh, that is why we've created such an amazing program, is because we have been doing it very differently. We have thought of it very differently. And we do want to see something very different for preschool education in the world. We do have a goal of going globally and in creating just a completely different possibility, not just for children, but for the parents and the community of what's
And
possible.
that part that, yeah, the part that you said is like, oh, one of the keys of being different is that you weren't tied, to all the box of what education should be. So how many of you are living within the box of whatever area in your life of what it should be, or the paradigm that this reality says you should create?
Or what the authority figures say it should be, because we had authority figures, say they were telling us, oh, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. And we ignored it and just continued doing what we've been doing and creating it and making it bigger and greater and more extraordinary and creative. And just the results in our children, the feedback from the parents and how they're doing, like we literally are having preschoolers that are reading.
Wow.
Age 3 and 4 that are just doing extraordinary.
Wow. And this makes me think back to, as Gary Douglas shares his stories, as he was creating Access way before the time he was outsourcing, there was people, and we are still all working around the globe, 24 hours, there's always someone. And yet the structure that some people would look at, or the systems we have in place, are so beyond this reality, and the way we function, and the speed of the growth of Access is incredible. So that willingness to be different, to go with what you know. So what is it that you all know? What is it that you know that you be, that you are judging as wrong because it does not fit within the box of this reality? Keep asking, what is it that I know beyond this reality, that if I acknowledge I know that, would allow me to be, know, perceive, and receive what I can create now and in the future. And anything that doesn't allow that, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And here's another key. If you're looking to actually create something beyond this reality, whatever it is, your life, start to look at that energy you're being. Are you loving your life? When Irene talks about the school, there's such this affinity for what she's created, right? And it's like, what is it that you love, that you enjoy, that has that energy? And that's the best way to create your life, your business, your relationships. So everywhere you've been looking at what doesn't work and, the problems of it, rather than the enjoyment of what you could add that would be more of what you would love, will you now destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pack, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So awesome. Thank you, Irene. And Dan, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just have no words. Whatever I was asking, you just melt me away. I'm so grateful to be here. And every single word that you have said, it's empowering me to be my magic from within, from every choice, from whatever I'm choosing every minute right now. So I'm so grateful for this Zoom. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all the tools. The only thing I can say, I'm using the tools dynamically, like one after the other, and that it's building a totally different life for me. It's showing totally different every day. And well, uncomfortable is a part of this reality now. So the only thing I can say, when you use the Access tools, then you show me a long time ago, just ask for ease for every single thing. And then if something is not changing, use another tool, use another tool, use another tool. And everything you said today is just like, thank you. Now I know that when I say, what grand and glorious adventures will I have, these things show up. Thank you for this Zoom. It's just like, thanks.
And one of the energies that you're now bringing forward is also another energy that will change molecules of what's showing up. This is the part, like, we think sometimes that, oh, these tools, it's asking a question or running and clearing. That is actually speaking to the molecules to change what's about to show up, to actually change, to create the ease. So you're talking about the energy of gratitude, Dan, and that space of gratitude. And here's one question I'd like to ask all of you. How grateful are you for you? Yeah. How grateful are you for you? And if the number's really low, ask, what would it take for me to be more grateful for me today than I was yesterday? Just ask, because that's going to invite you to start to have that energy more as a part of your life. So awesome. Thank you, Dan. Thank you all. Thank you for choosing to come on. And I hope it has inspired a little something more in your life. And really that there is something I know, and there's many things I guess I know, but one of the early ones, and actually Melanie Clampett, the one that's been commenting, she was the one that first asked me a question with total space of curiosity. And she asked me, Sylvia, it was almost like the secret, like, well, what is it that you know? But like, so I'm asking all of you, what is it that you know that you haven't been willing to expose? So what is it that you know? Because when she asked me that for the very first time, I could put something into words. And I was new to access consciousness. And one of the things I said, I know the mantra of access is true. All alive comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. I know that's true, but I haven't seen people choose that. So what are you hiding that you know is true? That ease that Dan asked about, we can choose that, be that. What if life and living could be ease filled? Doesn't mean it's easy, but could be ease filled. Yeah, that joy and that glory, that exuberant expression and abundance. So ask for that. And if you haven't played with the mantra, ask to receive it, ask to be it, repeat it 10 times in the morning. If you want to do advanced, go for 100 in the morning and the evening. But truly, what if everything can come to you with ease, joy, and glory? And to change anything, it's just one choice away. So know that you're not the effect of anyone or anything. You always have another choice and you get to choose. So I hope that today, as we approach Valentine's Day, look at the timing. So I hope this is a beautiful invitation out here, at least in the United States. There's a big commercial on Valentine's Day tomorrow. And what if we could actually invite ourselves to have a moment with ourselves, that loving, caring, kindness, nurturing of like, I adore you. And then don't forget to ask your body too, or receive your body. It's like, thank you, body. Like have that joy, that receiving, that play. It's like, I'm gonna, whatever you can be with yourself, like take yourself for a walk, you know, enjoy just, I don't know if you have sun, under the sun, whatever it is for you, but what can you gift you out of the adoration and gratitude that you can be for you, whatever is showing up in your life. This isn't about, you know, having the perfect life. It's whatever's showing up, because it all will contribute to you if you don't judge it and you know that you have another choice. So thank you all. And thank you for the comments. And may you just have way more of you today, enjoy you way more today, like you way more, and be better than anyone else you know. How dare you? But I invite you to the challenge to like you more than you like anyone else. So thank you all so much. We'll have the follow-up email. I'll put in those 2 quotes so that you have those, and you'll have the replay. So thank you all for receiving and being so playful. I adore you all. And for those that I haven't met in person, I hope to see you. We'll be out in California. We'll be out in Florida, Miami, and Boca Raton. We'll be out in Argentina as well. Puerto Vallarta, we're headed there. So you can find a lot of my schedule on the Access Consciousness website. You can also find it in my Linktree and Instagram. And I am doing private sessions. We have a beautiful system my team has created. I have a very extraordinary special going on till the end of February. It was for the beginning of the year. So you can book 15 minutes. And there's people here that have booked 15 minutes and has changed their life. So it may seem like few minutes, but time isn't real. And when you're willing to change something, there is a gift. So you can do it at 15-minute increments, but it has to all be booked before February 28th. So, all right, grateful for all of you. What else can we be in the world, and what inspiration are you already you have not acknowledged? So thank you. See you all soon. Ciao. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.